Hello. It's been a while. Oh, Jesus, it's really been that fucking long. Oh my god. S- wow. I don't know what the fuck to talk about. I'll be honest, I tried recording something earlier, and, wow. That did not go well. I tried making a video where I talked to several, like, AI, like, chatbot things, and I talked about the harmfulness of, you know, having your friend be a fucking AI who can't disagree with you. And then it kind of evolved into me discussing religion with ChatGPT. I might release that footage if I feel so fucking inclined, but like that went off. That just turned into me like going on a religion like rant, and that's what this is. It's something I know might not seem like it, but I am a very I like talking about religion. I like talking about politics. I like talking about kind of fucking anything. I'm the kind of guy that I know, like, it's societally like, you know, you're not supposed to talk about those things, but like I'm the guy who goes like, but why don't we? Why don't we discuss those things? I'm the guy to show up at actually I'm not kind of the guy to show up at a family dinner and start ranting about it, because like I also don't want to be that kind of guy who just like a conversation's going on about fucking like Metroid or some shit. I'd be like, I actually don't like the religious themes. It's just like everyone's like, okay, man, we don't give a shit. I really only bring it up if prompted. It's why most people are always shocked whenever they learn that I'm interested in politics. Because they're always just like, you never talk about it. It's like, no shit, I don't talk about it. We're not just talking about Trump randomly, how he's a pedophile. I say that like it's not like a super well-known, almost basically confirmed fact. Allegedly. So, I'm gonna be ranting about religion. We'll see how this goes. To me, I've always viewed religion as completely fucking unnecessary. I do want to mention throughout this entire video, I will barely ever be staring into the camera. I have my OBS overlay here, and like I see myself. I keep staring at it. I will not be looking into the camera. I am so fucking sorry. I view religion as unnecessary. I think it's completely fucking stupid. I don't see any need or purpose for it. Let me break it down for you. Let's say you're going down the street and you have a Coca-Cola can in your hand, and you're finished with the Coke. You're almost home, but you don't want to hold it the entire way. What do? Do you throw it into the fucking bushes, or do you hold it until you get home and throw it away? If you said throw into the, you know, throw into the nearby bushes, that's littering. It's bad. To go home and throw it away, you're throwing it away. It's good. You're not littering. You know what's good and bad. I feel like even if you did litter, you would understand that that is littering. You would understand that that is bad, right? You would make those links, and maybe those ideas that you have in your head would be used to come to a conclusion of what action you should take. You don't murder your entire family because you had a disagreement, because that's kind of bad. And it takes a lot of work too to hide the body. I just unplugged my microphone. So, maybe we should cut out the fucking middleman and make decisions based on what's good and bad. I don't understand the people going like, I shouldn't do violent or bad things because God thinks it's bad. No. Instead, maybe just don't do the violent act because it's not good. If you need to rationalize what you do because God might not like it, if you're going, oh, right, I shouldn't do bad things because God doesn't like it, depending on the severity, you might just be a fucking psychopath. Like, when it comes to littering, it might just be like, you're lazy. My bad. But, like, if it's like, oh, I shouldn't kill someone, or I shouldn't hurt this animal because God wouldn't want me to, you might just be a fucking psycho. And it gets to that point where, like, eventually that kind of wears off, and you're just like, what's the point, you know? You stop caring about that, especially if you're a fucking psychopath. I feel like using religion as this idea of, like, why we should and shouldn't do things is a bit just stupid and flawed in a lot of ways. And there's obviously, like, you know, how do you weigh what's good or bad? Oh, I don't know. By living life! I have a pretty unique set of what I call good and bad, for many reasons. I have lived a very Very boring life, if you want me to be completely honest. Or I find it boring. I find my life to be what it is, boring as shit. So, like, you know, as I grew up, I obviously did a lot of thinking. I did a lot of thinking about what's good and what's bad. And I came up with my ideals. Did God help with that? Fuck no. At the age of, like, 7, I thought that God did exist, but that he left. At the age of like 11, I just cut out the fucking middleman. I was just like, yeah, that's just fucking stupid. He just doesn't exist. I've been an atheist since I was fucking 10, basically. And so, as such, and I would say I'm a pretty morally abiding guy, you know? I don't fucking butcher animals and trip toddlers because I can, as much as I'd like to. I don't do things because of 1, law, and 2, rules that I made for myself. Imagine that as a concept. Thinking of things by yourself. I know that opening a door for someone who's coming is a waste of my fucking time. Because you motherfuckers walk so goddamn slow. But it's technically a waste of time. If I see someone approaching, and yeah, I hold up the door, that's like 3 seconds I could have saved. I could have been in the store by now. But at the same time, what the fuck do I gotta do, man? My life isn't that important. I don't got shit to do, man. Just open the door. It's polite. Whatever the fuck. Who gives a shit? I just do things. I just do good things because they're good. Who cares? I'll get into the selfishness factor later because I know a lot of people are bringing that up. So I'll get into that soon. I promise. I open up the door because it's a good thing to do, and you know it's a lot better than I don't have anything to do. I'm free 90% of the time. So like, who cares? Plus, you know, it saves them time. They don't gotta do it. It's good. Why do I not kill people? Boy, I fucking wonder! If I were forced to kill someone, would I do it? Of course. I was forced to. Self-defense is a reason, of course. I feel like even a religious person would do the same thing. I feel like even if God was... Because you have that belief that, like, well, God says murder is wrong. But if you have a man charging at you with a knife and you got a fucking gun pointed to their head, you're gonna pull the fucking trigger, okay? I don't give a shit who you are. A religious person would defend themselves in that situation. Me, a non-religious atheist, would do the same thing. We're the same, you and I. Fucking... There's... Just cut out the middleman! So we have this situation. Someone's charging at you with a knife. You shoot them. At the end of the day... You did that because you want to survive. Shocking, I know. We do what we can to survive, and we do what's good for us and what's good for those around us, or those who we care about. So here's the idea of being a selfish prick. People often say that, like, they like to do good things, or I don't like the idea of people doing good things to me because it benefits them going to heaven. If someone opens like a door for me, I hope that they're doing that either because they know it saves me time, because they know it's polite, or because it makes them feel good about themselves. I would much rather that than them going, oh, this will give me brownie points to the getting to heaven. I would much rather someone help me for what could be seen as selfish than doing it because it might give them brownie points. It's the same people who are like, who do good things to like, I don't know, like... appear good to their girlfriend. I fucking hate it when people do that. That's just, again, shitty. I do good things because it benefits others. Because I know that, like, if someone comes to me needing help and I give them advice, I know that later they may or may not use that advice and it can help them achieve a better solution to whatever the problem is. That's good. I like that. It makes me feel good about themselves. It helps someone else. That should be it. Everything is a two-way conveyor belt. For example, a lot of friends of mine, I give them advice. They give me answers, for example, or like something interesting to talk about. If I give advice to somebody, obviously they're going to tell me the context as to why they're asking me that. That's what I'm interested in. I like figuring stuff out. I like puzzles. So they give me the puzzle, I piece it together and give it back to them via advice. They complete the puzzle, they get satisfaction through that. They might even thank me. If they thank me, that makes me feel good about myself. And their problem is still fixed. Do you see how this works? It benefits everyone in the end, even if there is a slight bit of selfishness inside of it. But even at the end of the day, doing it for God is selfish. If you're opening the door for someone or giving someone advice because it might give you brownie points to get into heaven, that makes you kind of a selfish dick. It removes the factor of, oh, it also makes me feel good. Or maybe it's just entirely selfish, which again, still isn't good. If you kind of cross out the idea of it benefits this person, makes you a bit of a selfish prick. If you see somebody who only has, or who's like an old woman, for example, old short lady, can't reach someone on a high up shelf, and you help them, again, you could have saved time. You could have walked right past her, gotten the milk, and fucking thrown at her head for all you care. But you don't do that because you know that's bad. You know it's bad, and you know it'll get you put in fucking prison. I hate this idea that, like, people think... I know it's not common anymore, but I've seen some people think that, like, oh, atheists don't do bad things only because they fear law. No, it's because we have fucking a moral code. I don't randomly throw shit at fucking orphans on the side of the road because I can, or because I'd get arrested, but I do it because it's kind of just a shitty thing to do. So this idea that, like, oh, you know, you're just doing it because it's bad. It's like, yeah, kind of, yeah. I feel like law is less of like a definer. It's not, doesn't define you or what you can and can't do. It's more like in case we come across someone who's unmoral, which I'm gonna get into soon. If you have somebody who does these bad things, you see that they get, for example, even younger kids, they see that the bad man hit the lady. He gets put into prison. So they make that link. That's bad. And they also see the old lady got hurt. That's also bad. So they make the link. If they hurt someone, that hurt, bad. They don't need to be like, oh, and also God will fucking smite me down and throw a thunderbolt on my ass. Yeah, they don't need to worry about that because it's unimportant. It's stupid. It's just so fucking stupid. This is just me rambling. Although, to be fair, people said they like hearing me ramble for some reason. Most of the time, I'm not even sure if people are actually listening to the words that are coming out of my mouth or if they're just hearing me talk and going, uh-huh, uh-huh, uh-huh. Wow. Makes you think, doesn't it? Oh yeah, selfish people, or psychopaths. A psychopathic person, if they want to kill somebody, for example, they're just gonna do that, okay? I highly doubt a psychopath is gonna be going, maybe I shouldn't kill this person because God doesn't want me to. They're gonna do it because they want to. How do we define what's good or bad? Again, it's mostly surrounded by people. Almost everyone unanimously agrees. Murder is bad, so we make murder bad. People don't do it, you know? Society agrees. Pedophilia is bad. People don't do that. Not because God didn't tell them to, but because we all have an innate understanding that that's bad, because kids can't consent. Oh my God. We understand that fucking, like, you know, zoophilia is bad. Stuff like that's bad. We understand it's bad. We understand why it's bad because animals can't consent to that form of thing either. We understand that's bad, so we don't do it, not because God fucking didn't tell us to. We don't need this 3,000-year-old book telling us what's wrong. We can automatically make those links by just having some fucking subjective, just think. Just think. Think, people, think! But if you have someone who's bad, and they want to do those things, for example, pedophiles. A pedophile is not going to not do something because they think that God will smite them down for it. They don't want to do it because they know people will fucking call them evil, rightfully so, and they'll go to jail. That's why people don't do these things. It's because they don't want to, because they know it's bad. Does that make sense? I hope it does. I hope I'm not just talking out of my ass here and no one understands what the fuck I'm saying. And I know a lot of people will like take this and twist it in some way and being like, oh, well, what if a bunch of people start agreeing that pedophilia is good and all that stuff? That's not gonna fucking happen. I had this debate with somebody and they literally brought that up. They're like, oh, well, what if like in somewhere like Alabama, everyone starts agreeing that incest is good? That's not gonna happen because there's scientific proof showing that it's bad. Inbreeding is bad. And there's also like stuff like that's technically statutory rape and stuff like that. We understand it's bad, so we don't do it. Understood? Another thing I want to talk about is meaning. Obviously, a lot of people are like, oh, religion gives me meaning. It helps me wake up in the morning. Why? Not everything has to have meaning. You can just do shit. You know that, right? I can name 1,000 things that happen every day that have no fucking meaning. They never lead anywhere. It's just completely stupid. You don't know what I do with those things? I don't think about them because, again, they didn't matter. So who gives a shit? Meaning, things are only as meaningful as we make them. The only reason we give a shit about anything is because we give a shit about them. That could be for a myriad of reasons. I care about my friends deeply, and I'll do anything for them. They have meaning to me because I like them, not because like if I were to think about everything logically, they're like, oh well, then they don't matter because they're not gonna like give me money in the future. Again, that just kind of makes you a bit of a selfish dick. And if you're a selfish dick, then you're a selfish dick. There's no fixing you. My bad. The like. Just this idea that religion is so not needed anymore, and like it's stupid that people stick by these ideas. Like I remember I met somebody. I know this. I'm sure this is not a common thing, but like I met someone and they're like, "Oh, I'd be okay with gay people, but it's you know religion calls it bad." Motherfucker, you were almost there. Like just cut it out then. Like. Oh my, like, if you just use subjective thinking, hurting people and like, is also, I guess it's not like hurting someone if you think, you know, being gay is bad, but like, just come on, it makes you feel better about yourself. I know, like, I also feel like just religion overall is just flimsy. Like, you can just hop on and off of that shit whenever you want. I know religious people who are like, oh, I usually don't like gay people, but you're fine. It's just like, thanks, I guess. Because, or they'll be like, well, I can't tell that you're gay innately. And it's just like, can you tell with that with other people? And I'm also just kind of like, how? Because I have a, like, 50, it's 50-50, 50-50? It's 50-50. People are either like, oh yeah, I can tell you're gay immediately, or some people are like, oh, I can never tell you're gay. Which, like, is it the long hair? Is that it? I don't fucking know. Is it the way I act? Or is it the fact that I make jokes about, I don't know, fucking men? Is that it? I don't understand. Whatever. It's just like, cut out the middleman. Or it's more like, okay, other than the whole religious aspect, why don't you like gay people? Maybe they'll be like, oh, well, when I was 3, there was this thing that happened, or, you know, or I don't have good experience with gay people. Okay. That makes sense. Let's talk about that. You know, this one person who was gay hurt you. How about we separate gay from person? It was this person hurt you, not, you know, this gay person. And you separate them and you understand and you learn, oh, maybe not all gay people are bad. Obviously, if it's like one gay person, obviously. If, you know, a bunch of gay people hurt you, you need to look at what being gay is innately. It's having a sexual and or romantical attraction to men. So you understand, okay, what did that have to do with what happened to me? Oh, I was also a boy back then. Okay, we're getting somewhere. Thing is does being gay innately have to do with small or older children? No, it does not. Okay, so we exclude that. They hurt me because they were gay and also happened to be a pedophile. Now, what is a pedophile being innately? It's an attraction to young kids. Something that we already mentioned is bad. So again, you weren't hurt by gay people. You were hurt by pedophiles who happen to be gay. That's how you get over being a racist or homophobic person. Just apply the same thing with race. It's simple. It's easy. Oh my god. We don't need religion anymore. It's stupid. It's unneeded. It's... The only reason religion worked back then is because people were fucking stupid. I am willing to say this now. If religion never existed, nowadays, if you said, oh yeah, I found this book in a bush that was on fire, everyone's gonna look at you like you're fucking schizophrenic. And for good reason. You probably are. Back then, people didn't know anything really. They didn't know why it rained, why things did that, why things did this. So if you were to come out of nowhere and be like, oh yeah, I found this book in a burning bush, they'd be like, oh, okay. You know, I've never seen that personally before, but, you know, someone else, you know, said there was rain, and suddenly water fell from the sky. So, like, yeah, people were a lot more gullible. Those were the people you want to control. Those people who believed you, they're easy to control because they'll believe whatever the fuck you tell them. If you're evil and tell them that you found a book outside of a burning bush, they'll definitely believe you if you say, oh yeah, by the way, gay people are going to this super bad place. You can get these people to align with your ideals, not through logic and or reason or life experience. You get them to agree with you just because of this fear of divine punishment. Religion, I am willing to say this. I'm willing to stand by this. Religion from the start was made to control people. That it just always been there to control people. There was never a reason for it to exist other than that. Or because again, or actually, sorry, hold on, scratch that. Sorry, did not mean that. Reverse. Religion was used to give people an explanation as well, because a lot of people wanted to know, why was there rain falling from the sky? Obviously, a religious person could say, oh, it's God, and they'd be like, oh, okay. And that it closed that mind off, because as humans, we want an answer to everything. We want there to be purpose to stuff. Sometimes shit just happens, you know? Rain happens because of the moisture and it's in the clouds and all that shit. We understand how rain works nowadays because we have science. Back then we didn't. So obviously, as soon as we found out how rain existed, that like needing that like religious thing we all found out was kind of bullshit. We found out that rain gods weren't real that way. But obviously the question is what happens to us after death? And the thing is, we all need to put our big boy / girl / if you have enough / non-binary pants on and just go, we don't fucking know, and we're never gonna know because we can't kill someone and then bring them back, so we can't question them. So we just kind of need to accept that we don't know what's gonna happen. That's another thing. We just need to accept shit a lot more. We need to kind of accept things. Sometimes shit just happens. Sometimes good stuff happens. Sometimes bad stuff happens. Sometimes things will be unexplained. Sometimes things will get explained. We don't need to look to a god for everything. Okay? There was this person who I was debating with, and they said something like, I shouldn't be debating religion with religious people because it could cause someone to kill themselves. What? Dude, if a religious person and me were happening to have like a small debate, mind you, I don't start debates out of nowhere. I only do it when prompted and the time is right and all that stuff, mind you. We're talking about it, and they start questioning their beliefs, and they killed themselves. Motherfucker, they had their own issues going on. I had nothing to do with that. I feel like they're already on their way out, as rude as that sounds. I just think it's stupid, because like, yeah, you're not, like, what? If you kill yourself because you started slightly questioning your own thoughts, that is not my fault. And obviously, yeah, you could say that I'm selfish or say that I'm just like trying to push away like guilt and all stuff. And sure, part of that might be true, but like, again, logically and subjectively think about it. That person was probably already struggling with suicidal ideals. And the fact that they stopped lying to themselves caused them to want to end it all, and they do. Still not good, but really, they were lying to themselves. And I feel like if you can't find meaning within things like friends or family or just being alive, then, like, I'm sorry. I used to live in a very similar way. Lord drop. On me, I guess, but I used to be like a really bad nihilist. I used to think that nothing I did mattered, nothing I ever would do would matter, none of my relationships mattered, and honestly, like, life just didn't matter all that much to me. Just like whether or not I continued living or not didn't matter. But yet, I still stuck around, and as a kid, I always wondered, like, why? Why am I still around? Why don't I just kind of kill myself? But, like, I just kind of thought about more. It's just kind of like, I like living. I like hearing the laugh of my friend. I like making a joke out of something completely abstract and arbitrary. I like these things, so I did them. And I feel like as soon as I realized that, a lot of, like, the suicidal ideation and all of that went away. Like, immediately. Because I just started living life off of what I believe to be right or wrong, and I build upon that. But back to what I was talking about earlier, after realizing that I just liked being alive, then obviously there comes the question of like, oh, what about the bad stuff? And during the bad stuff, don't you just want to kill yourself? It's because, again, I just kind of accept shit happens. I accept that, yeah, there's going to be bad days. There's going to be days where life's just a pain in my ass and everyone's on my nerves. But at least I know that perhaps, maybe in the future, I will have at least one good day. I have that to look forward to. I don't need to look forward to, well, at the end of my life, I'll, be with God or whatever the fuck. I can just look forward to, I had the small impact. Or maybe in the future, I'll have a good day. Or maybe I'll live longer, stuff like that. Maybe I'll find something funny. It's the same with death. I view my death, I don't think about my death very often. Because when it happens, it's going to happen. Whatever happens next, whatever happens next. I don't know what's going to happen next. And I've accepted that. I've come to terms with that. I'm fine with death. If I were to die tomorrow, I would be fine. If I can avoid it, I will. Because again, I like living. I like to see what happens next. But if I was like given knowledge that said someone's like, you're going to die, okay, I'm fine with that. I'll tell everyone I know, and I'll live life. Because not really much I can do. Again, I just try to have a good day. Just one last day. One last good final day. And obviously, there'd be some finality stuff. I'd be telling people things I've always wanted to tell. And, maybe I'd do something I've always wanted to do. But, like, yeah, it wouldn't be that big of a deal to me. Do I understand why some people want/need religion? Yes. No, sorry, let me correct this. Do I understand why people want religion? Yes. Do people actually need it? No. We do not need religion, especially not in today's climate, not in today's society when we have so much reasoning for everything. We don't need it. It's stupid. It's idiotic. It's quite literally barbaric. Religion, maybe, just again, maybe it was needed back then when there were so many questions around the world. But even then, you could apply the logic that people just needed to accept that there is a reason, we just don't know it yet. And hey, maybe that's the same way with death. Maybe we don't know what comes next, but in the future we might. People who have been resuscitated, for example, report that nothing happened. They died, and then they got resuscitated. That's all they remember. Maybe that's all there is. Maybe there's just nothing after death, which I know it's hard to imagine nothing, but maybe that's what's next. Nothing. And if that's the case, if there is nothing, I kind of have no choice but to accept that, right? It's objective truth. I'm not going to be like, no, but this book says... I'm going to go with the objective truth, and I'm going to accept that maybe after death, nothing will happen. Maybe my death won't matter. Maybe I won't get to go anywhere. Maybe I won't get to be able to meet George Carlin. Doesn't matter to me, because I've already... It does matter to me, but I've accepted it. I've accepted that truth. And I feel like that's what people need to do, instead of looking towards some giant wannabe dad who is probably... If God does exist... Wow, you're a terrible dad! Again, it's like George Carlin, what he said. God would have to be a dude, because only a dude could fuck up this badly.
And by the way, I say this guy because I firmly believe, looking at these results, that if there is a God, it has to be a man. No woman could or would ever fuck things up like this. So...
Yeah, just... I know this video didn't have a lot of, like, structure, and I know this video wasn't very ha-ha funny, but... I just wanted to rant. It's fucking... What time is it? It's 6:49 right now, so yeah, I just wanted to ramble, so... If you like what you saw, like and subscribe. I don't know why you would, but go on. I promise I'll be making more shit, I promise. I got caught up with other stuff. Till then, see ya.